Welcome, my friend, to the first day of the rest of your life. I'm going to share with you 3 steps on how to make that a reality for you this year. And this gets to be a truly beautiful year for you. And so I want to share with you some very important things that will allow that to start unfolding for you from this day forward. Now, the first thing you need to understand is really through the question of asking yourself, where are you? And I'm not asking like, where is your physical body right now? So for example, like I'm up in the mountains of beautiful Colombia at the moment, but where I really am is I am here with you. I am speaking to the soul of who you are and who you feel called to be. And where you are is something that is very important to understand because it brings you to the question that helps you discover who you really are. Because too many times we get caught in the past or in the future and we completely stay there and we never are present to now. And I want to kind of speak to that beyond just this idea of a place that we are being now or in the present, and a place of who you are. And that is being in this presence of this way of being and showing up in a way that is deeply connected with the soul of who others are around you. And so that you're able to show up in that way because it's critical for you to be able to accomplish the things that are meaningful, because that is at the heart of who you are, this vision that you have, maybe some of the resolutions that you've set. We'll talk about that in a second. But being able to accomplish those things, being able to step into those things is required of you to become the person that is capable of receiving the gifts of those blessings. And so asking where you really are, right? Like, where are you, is an important question that allows us to take a step back and understand, okay, well, where are we operating from? Am I operating from the past? Am I seeing everything right now as a reflection of past, experiences and past circumstances that maybe I didn't like, or I didn't want, or I didn't appreciate, or whatever it might be? And are we living in that past experience that we no longer want to carry forward with us, but yet we are dragging it into our present moment and we're holding on to it? And therefore, if that's the case, where we really are is in the past versus being present. And that requires you to be accepting the fact of being presence, not just being in a place that we might refer to as the now or present, but being presence. And so really consider that, because this gives you access to who you really are, which is an infinitely capable spiritual being having a human experience. And as you step into these 3 things that we're going to talk about, it's important for you to be truly coming from being presence as you go into it. And so the first thing that I would offer you is to allow simplicity to be your guide. Allow simplicity to be your guide, because here's the thing: every meaningful thing that you're looking to accomplish this year is going to be a lot simpler than you think. Now, I understand it's hard to accept that reality, because at the end of the day, yes, there are going to be steps along the way that are beyond what you expected them to look like, right? So I'm not talking about that, because a lot of the skills required for you to be able to accomplish and to be able to move through this journey, to take the steps required, there is going to be challenge there. There are obstacles in the way. There's going to be a struggle for you to be able to grow into this individual who's capable of moving in the right direction and moving forward towards this vision. However, it is going to be a lot simpler than you think. Now, it's going to be beyond the expectations you might have of it right now, especially if you're bringing past experience into the equation and trying to think of things into the future, right? This vision that you have for yourself in the future, if you're trying to think of those things from past experience that you've had and dragging that baggage into your vision, it's going to be very difficult to see how simple things really can be. The other aspect of this is we also don't see the simplicity because we simply see the surface level of the steps that we need to take, or the things in front of us, or the places we need to be, right? And we distract ourselves from grounding our focus. And who are we required to become? And that's where it becomes very simple, because that can manifest from simply a decision. A decision, which means, at the end of the day, A decision is to cut off any other options other than you being presence, being committed, being focused, and allowing yourself to operate from a place where there is no other option, right? So many people make, like, say, for example, like New Year's resolutions. Well, resolutions at the end of the day are, at the heart of it, is a decision. And that is to cut off all other options. However, most people talk about resolutions without cutting off any options, and they leave everything available on the table, especially all of the past baggage that they're bringing into this present moment and into their future focus. And therefore, everything is completely available to them on the table. And therefore, when the thing that they are wanting or striving for gets difficult, it allows them the ability to divert back to all the default ways of thinking and things that they've always done. Because it's still left on the table. It's still an option available that they can revert back to, right? So allow simplicity to be your guide as you go forward, and focusing on the things that you're looking to create for yourself this year. And simplicity will be your guide. If it is getting overcomplicated, if you are allowing things to be completely complicated beyond any level of simplicity, then it's going to be very difficult to accomplish what you say you're committed to. Because at the end of the day, success in anything meaningful in life, success is innately simple. Why? Because it has to be. If you overcomplicate things, then you are completely diverting away from anything that is inevitably going to be or lead to genuine success. And that means a kind of a holistic understanding of success, right? We're not just talking about achieving a specific number or achieving a particular material goal. We're talking about the larger picture of having success, where you're not only achieving the things that are meaningful, but you're also becoming somebody along the way that allows you to create even more, to continue that eternal expansion that allows you to truly be that present being. The second step, once you allow simplicity to be your guide, it can help you navigate to where things are maybe going off the rails, where things are maybe leading you to burnout, where things are maybe leading you in a direction that isn't truly in alignment with your vision, that allows you to have the freedom in your life to be able to do things that you love and be able to be around and build relationships that are meaningful. Simplicity can act as your guide if you allow it. That leads us to step number 2. Step number 2 is to remember the purpose of a goal, right? Remember the purpose of the goals that you have as you go into this year and looking to create meaningful things in your life. The purpose of a goal is not merely the achievement of the goal. It's to become the person who's capable of achieving any goal. And so allow yourself to understand that the purpose of the goals that you have set is to ignite a focus on what matters, and starting to allow yourself to start cutting off some things that you know that no longer serve you, that no longer serve your next chapter of focus in your life. And so remember that the purpose of a resolution, for example, at the heart of it is to decide. And at the core of a decision is you really making the choice as to what really matters moving forward in this new chapter of your life. And what are you willing to let go? And that's where a lot of people struggle, because they can't step into a new life carrying the baggage of the old one that they're attached to. And in order to experience this new life and level of success and achievement that you're looking to create this year, well, to be able to step into that life, it's going to cost you that success tax of you being willing to let go of maybe some things that no longer serve you from a past life. And so this is really important as you move forward into this year, to really allow yourself to bring something out of yourself this year that you never realized was possible, right? And start maybe looking at things a little bit differently. Start understanding yourself in a different way. Start allowing yourself to do things that you've never been willing to do before. Start allowing yourself to have conversations that you always found really challenging and difficult. But it's now time for you to step up and have those conversations, because inevitably all of this leads to you being willing to become someone that you never thought you could become, someone that you feel called to expanding into. But in order to do that, it's going to require you to face kind of these gateways, if you will. Now, the third step, this third gateway, would be to never forget who you really are. Never forget who you are, the infinitely capable spiritual being having a human experience who is capable of anything that you put attention and intention towards, in alignment with grounding yourself in the things that we've shared so far. And so, for example, I was recently just blessed with a son, and in him being welcomed into this world, it's just this overwhelming experience of realizing the answer to that question of like, oh man, am I ready for this? This is going to be really difficult. Like, oh, being a father and all that responsibility and all these things that maybe come to, one's mind. But being able to be grounded in the peace of knowing that you are capable and ready, and the reason you know that is because my son was born, right? And so I know that I am ready to face that new chapter of my life, and I know that I'm ready to face those challenges because he's here. And that means that, it's not going to look perfect and it's not going to go as I expected, but it does mean that I am ready for that new chapter of my life. It does mean that I'm ready for that challenge. It does mean that I am capable of facing the difficulty that comes with who I must grow into becoming as a man, as a father, and as a husband, in order to create a beautiful home that allows for the experience of him growing up and being able to be there for him. And so remember who you are. And you are always going to face what is required of you to become who you're committed to becoming. And so it's one thing to set the resolutions, to set the goals, to think about them, to throw them out there, and again, to kind of haphazardly talk about them. It's another thing to set the intention, to allow yourself to understand where you really are, to appreciate who you truly are, to go through and understand that allowing simplicity to be your guide can create a barometer that allows you to see where you're navigating off course, and being able to understand and appreciate the purpose of a goal so that you remain focused on not only the idea of what's possible, but the intention of cutting off all other options because you've made a decision to commit and go all in to creating something in your life that welcomes you into this next chapter, and inevitably remembering who you really are, because you're ready and you are deserving of this moment. And it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be maybe what you expected, looking at it through the lens of past experience, but it is what you are capable of receiving and going through right now. And so this gets to be a beautiful year for you. And I wish you all of the best in that journey. I hope that I might be able to serve you along that way. Hopefully these videos are very meaningful in that experience. And I wish you all the very best as you go through that. And remember, as you do, remember to live your legend and commit to mastery.